Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for the top and bottom 3 comics of May 24th, 2022. Alright guys, just give you a little heads up here. If I don't sound great or if I have to pause, you hear a cough, I'm a little under the weather. Either it's my allergies or I got a cold. I don't know which. It actually decimated my voice a little bit the last 2 days, but it's a little bit back now as long as I keep sipping on my coffee. So if you hear that sip, that helps the voice. Alright, once again, I do like to make a point here. I can't read every single comic every week. There's just not enough time. Not with, well, at least not for me. And these are my views. You are allowed to have your own, so feel free if you disagree to please let me know why down below. Other reasons and then I'm an idiot and blah 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 or whatever. Just, explain your thoughts why, and that's perfectly fine. And then you can tell me I'm an idiot. So anyway, what I do is you hear the papers rattling because that's my notes. I take notes so that I can do this and keep it down. So, before we get started too, I want to make sure I bring up a point. Without these people here, this channel would not be possible. I mean it. These people are absolutely wonderful. They help keep this channel going. If you want to help this channel too, you can help with Subscribestar. You could do a one-time donation if you want to. I have a link down there for that, or a Patreon. You can join that as well, and you're going to get special things that are just for you there as well. And I'm working on some other things too to add. Right now, you get special videos that are only for you, as well as music that you can use to listen to, create ringtones with, put it in your videos. It doesn't matter. You won't have to worry about getting popped for those. I have that all taken care of. All right, so let's jump in and have the fun. So let's start with the top 3, the ones that I like, and I'm going to start with number 3. And number 3, I gave it to Devil's Reign Omega, and I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Now let me go to my notes of why I did that. I thought the art was mixed. It actually has a different story art there, but I'm a sucker. I'm a Luke Cage fan. Everybody knows that I'm a huge Luke Cage fan and Danny Rand. Well, not everybody knows it. Everybody that follows me knows that I'm a big fan of those characters, and that to see them being used always tends to make me happy as long as they're used right. I do find that the story is good here. I really do want to see where it goes. Take Luke Cage and now he's mayor and see how he can handle that. And this also continues to give me hope for Danny Rand becoming the Iron Fist again, because and getting that, because we're still seeing him. I think it'd be a great story arc to have him. I know we've had one similar to this not too long ago, but maybe relook into that. What makes him special? And get him the Iron Fist power again, have him go through that, rather than continuing breaking characters down. This is an opportunity that Marvel has to actually build a character back up. They've failed at that consistently with many characters, and this is an opportunity. Let's build up Danny Rand. And so, as I said, let's get Danny Rand back as Iron Fist. It just gives me a glimmer of hope, so I give this issue a 7.5 out of 10. The next one. This one, it was a close battle. Alright, it was. And my number 2 is DC vs. Vampires Hunters. I gave it a 7.8 out of 10. I just like this whole DC and vampires thing. It's doing it for me. I'm really enjoying that. The art was pretty darn good. The story has been pretty solid. This was a one-shot. And I really do like the twist that we get at the start, because at first you start reading, it's like, wait a minute, I thought Damian was fighting these vampires. So you get a twist, then you get a little twist on top of that twist, and it's just, they're doing a good job of this. I like that, they made Dick Grayson the bad guy, which is really something you wouldn't expect, and it just, and it makes perfect sense. It's a good shocking thing, and how the Bat family is revolving around that. Once again, this is pretty amazing for a person that did not like Damian as a character at all when he was introduced. Did not. And I'm enjoying the series mostly, not always, but his series. I'm enjoying the character in other aspects, so pretty darn awesome. So once again, 7.8 out of 10. And my number 1, the one that I think that people should not be missing, and it's Task Force Z number 8. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Just so you know, I do grade hard. A 9 means you definitely need to run out and have that. An 8 is, hey, this book is strong. It's probably definitely worth our time in your read. An 8 out of 10 for Task Force Z. Another series that I've been enjoying, which surprises me. It really does do a good job of using bit characters that, or in the bad guys that you might not really care about too much. Now, I will say, that the art was solid in it. I think it was well written. Uh, Jason Todd in this issue gets the fighting credit he deserves. People don't really think about it. How much Jason Todd has trained, especially after Batman. It's often neglected. And he was up against a Robin, not Damian Robin. He was against the Tim Drake Robin, which they've wussified, which ticks me off because Tim Drake Robin used to be great. If you don't understand that, read before he had his own series, read his mini-series, and then read his actual series. Tim Drake was great. He wasn't the best fighter for Robin, but he was smart enough to use his amazing intelligence and detective skills to overcome that. Still be a good fighter, but he could use his additional smarts and things. And he doesn't display that anymore in the DC universe. They've really dumbed him down and they've written him like crap, and let's be honest here, they've manipulated and changed the character completely for an agenda, and it has not worked. It just hasn't done the character any justice. This was a great character. Now he's a mediocre character at best. So anyway, Jason Todd was fighting him. He was fighting Dick Grayson and more of the Bat Crew, and I mean, in holding his own, I think that shows you something. Oh, here comes a cough. Let me see if I can mute this first. All right, whew, I did manage to mute that before my cough. Let me get another sip of coffee here. So anyway, yeah, that's an issue I don't think that you want to miss. Task Force Z was really, really cool to see that, how that played out. Once again, an 8 out of 10. All right, so now let's get into the stinkers to clinkers, the ones nobody, well, some of them maybe aren't so bad. Yeah, these weren't that good. These are ones I think you could all skip this week. Now, this does sadden me to say on some of these because I was having some higher hopes for some. So my number 3 of the bottom of the barrel was Spider-Man 2099, number 1, or Spider-Man 2099 Exodus, number 1. The art was okay at best. The story really did not have much to do with Spider-Man 2099. It was sort of using his name to get people interested to buy the book, where it really didn't focus on his character, or it focused on a new Winter Soldier. And to be honest, the story wasn't that great. It was a bit boring. Yeah, I was a little jazzed up too because we were going to get Crossbones, and it was too fast and not enough credit to the version of Crossbones. It just really wasn't that entertaining of a story to me. Maybe that's just me. Feel free to let me know. But that was my bottom of the barrel for the first one anyway, and I only gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So that's one I think you could skip. The number 2, and this one I sort of kicked myself. Okay, just so you know, because I've given it higher scoring before, but there was an element of it I was not happy with. And they continue to build on that element and push that element more, which makes me like this book less and less with every issue. And that's Punisher number 3, where I gave it a 6.1 out of 10. Once again, that's Punisher number 3. Now, it's aggravating because, it's like they're doing this on purpose. They keep changing. They're going into characters' past and changing them. I understand some writers like to go into past and add more depth. I get that. But by doing that to this character, they're fundamentally changing him at his core. And they're making him more of a nutbag. I mean, granted, he wasn't, all there in the first place. But this is going even farther. And I don't like that, how they're going back in his history and changing it so much. I'm hoping they do something mystical maybe at the end, because they are using a mystical twist here to change it back. But this is Marvel. I don't see it happening. It just seems like they don't want the Punisher to be Punisher anymore, and they're doing this to piss people off, maybe to get people to not care about the character anymore. I don't know, that's the way I feel about it. And I really do. I have a hope that they restore the character. I just don't see it doing it. Marvel is really going out of their way here to destroy Frank Castle. I mean, I understand he wants his wife and his kids back. And what would you do to get that? I get that. That's amazing. But also, just the things that are done in this book. He's a brutal character and all, don't get me wrong. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just not Frank Castle-like anymore, especially when they go to his background. I like at least they show that he looks up to Captain America. We get that. But if he looked up to Captain America so much, would he have been doing those things that he does in this issue? No, it just doesn't make sense. He didn't become broken until later. This was maybe what built up that code and the good parts about him, to be broken and then mix that element. Now this takes all that out. It would make him just nuts right from the start. It really doesn't do the character any good. So what are you doing, Marvel? You doing this on purpose? I think so. All right, the last one, the one that you should not touch because it's at the very bottom. And I think some people already see this coming. And just hear me out here. and that would be Batman Fortress number 1, where I gave a 6 out of 10. Now, hear me out. I'm going to tell you before we're done to the other books that I write, just so you know real quick here. All right? I got another cough, so I'm going to pause it again. All right, I spared you guys that cough. Anyway, Batman Fortress number 1, 6 out of 10. The art was good, so that helps the issue out some. The story is interesting. I'm going to be honest about it. I find it to be an interesting story. But the big kicker, and we've seen it floating around the internet, which might not be as bad as people made it out to be because the next page adds a little bit more to it, but nonetheless, the writer clearly puts their personal views in this book about Bruce Wayne, or their personal views, and injects it into Bruce Wayne, which was not good. Let's be honest. The writer does not seem to understand the Bruce Wayne Batman character here. There is no way he would have went by those things and felt that way. That's just not Batman. That's a major flaw. That was the major kickback on this. Now, they did on the next page make it like, well, because it's not the major thing of importance. So I gave him a little bit of leeway there, to be honest, where some people don't. But let's be honest. That was way out of character for Batman. That, once again, this is what happens when you get writers that aren't really caring and respecting the characters and the material, and they're more focused on agendas and pushing their way into comic books. And we can say that's always been that way, and there has been an element of that, let's be honest there. But you can tell the good writers often from the bad ones, because the good ones are more subtle about it, and sometimes, especially the really good ones, are not just giving you one point of view. They're giving you multiple to make you think, and that's a good. And so if these people are their goal is to educate, I often tell people somebody that's truly good at educating will provide facts, so you could take those facts and come up with solid decisions on your own. So the next thing I want to show you or talk to you about is just quickly of the other comics that I read that didn't make the top and the bottom 3. I read Batman Beyond, The White Knight number 3. I gave it a 6.8 out of 10. I read Robin number 14, where I gave a 7.4 out of 10. Teen Titans Academy number 15, I gave a 7.3 out of 10. Just so you know, I think that series stunk, but this was the best issue of the series. The art was solid, and it gave a good nod to George Perez. I thought that was a nice touch. Once again, 7.3 out of 10. Amazing Spider-Man number 2, I gave a 7.1. The story really didn't move it anywhere. Avengers number 56, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Captain Carter number 3, I gave a 6.7 out of 10. Hulk number 7, I gave a 7.2 out of 10. It wasn't as good as last issue, but it was okay. Moon Knight number 11, I gave a 7 out of 10. And let's see, yep, that'd be it. Those are the comics I read, so let me know down below comics I should have read and what you think I should avoid at all costs. Let's have a little fun with this and share. Thank you everybody for putting up with me and my voice and having to stop because of my current issue with losing my voice and sneezing and coughing. I do apologize for that. In other words, thank you for taking the time to watch this all the way through. Until next time, keep it frugal.